Do you have a mentor? You entered a profession, or you are going through a certain training. It could even be academia, it could be your job, it could be your profession. Um, do you have a mentor? Is there someone who is guiding you? I want to tell you for one of the most important things that can help you to avoid mistakes and be able to improve tremendously and fast is the adoption of someone you can look up to, aka a mentor. I want to tell you my experience. I was a teacher before I came to the university, and I found someone who kind of mirrored what I wanted to, and his name is Prof. Kwame Adonfe. He taught me. I went to him in the office one day and asked him an important question. Sir, I want to grow in my profession. What can I do? And he asked me what profession. I said I was a teacher. And then he says, well, do you want to, he asked me a couple of questions. The first question was, do you want to keep being a teacher? I said, yes. And that sparked a conversation on what he thought I could do to become a teacher at a better teacher, number one, and two, a teacher at a higher level. And then I adopted him as my mentor, and he accepted me as a mentee. Throughout my career, my education, first as a diploma student, second as a bachelor student, third as an MPhil student, and when I actually got appointed, Prof. Donfe, guided me as a student, as a supervisor, as a boss, and as a mentor. And one of the things that I remember so well is how Professor Donfe will come down to my level, listen to me, and give me advice on what to do. But also how he would be tough on me when he thought that I had capacity to do things at a higher level that I didn't want to exert myself. And I'll give you a quick example of what happened one day. He was supervising my MPhil thesis, and I had written the thesis. I was almost getting to the end of the thesis, but I was so tired because at the time I was working full-time for a non-profit. So I was so tired and bundled the document together and sent it to him. Those days I had to print, so I printed a bulky document and sent it to him. And then he's an SDA person, so on Saturdays he doesn't work. But on Sundays, he often will come to the office and come and read all his thesis that he has to read. So I was in the house, and then he called me Sunday. And when he calls me, when things are very nice, he will call me Chief. But when he calls me by my name, then I know that there's troubles. Then he called me by my name and said, well, where are you? And I said, oh, I'm in the house, sir. And at the time, I was living in Mimpasem. He says, come to my office now. I knew there was trouble, so I took a taxi, got to campus, walked to his office. And when I knocked the door of his office and opened, he flipped my thesis to me. In fact, the thesis, because the document was bulky, I couldn't staple it. So I used a holding pin, the clips to hold the papers together. When he flipped the document to me, the document got dismantled into the air. And then he said, sit down. And then he was extremely stern. He says, you, Justice, I know your capacity. You are better than what you have written. How can you put together a document as bad as what you have, especially chapter this, chapter this, chapter that, and bring it to me? What do you expect me to do with the document? I know what your capacity is. I'm not accepting this document, and I want you to go back to the field. My work had been done in Sefiyoso district and in Hohoi district. It took me almost an hour to gather all the papers and arrange them according to the pages because they had scattered. I was very sad, but I thanked him and left. Then I went back into the field, asking somebody to do the data again for me in Hohoi, in Sefiyoso, and then I went to Hohoi, came back, put the document together, squeezed it much more, and then I sent a second version to him. And then when he finished reading it, he invited me and congratulated me and said, yes, now this is exactly who you are. I'm talking about mentorship. I'm talking about getting somebody who can mentor you. So this story, between myself and my mentor, and if I tell you the entire story of our mentorship, because of time, I'll just cut this short. But what I want you to note is that if you can grow in your profession, in your academia, in your workplace, you need a mentor. Now, you can select a mentor by, number one, identifying someone who you think has the kind of qualities that you are looking for yourself, either professionally or his behavior, his ethics, and the rest of them. Number two, you can adopt this mentor either remotely, anonymously, or even personally. A remote or an anonymous mentor is somebody who you don't go to reveal yourself, but you take active interest in their lives. You look at the things that they do, and you pick up lessons from their life, and you can use those lessons to guide yourself as you go. So, for example, a young pastor may take a bishop, an old pastor, as a mentor, and would listen to the way he prepares his message, the way he preaches, and all of that, and learn lessons from it and grow. So you can do that. But you can also take a mentor and go to this mentor, go to this person, and tell this person that you want to choose them as a mentor and that you want to be able to get closer to them and for them to guide you. Now, if you choose somebody as an anonymous or a remote mentor, usually you just have to follow what it is that you like about them. When you choose somebody as a mentor and you go to them, then it creates a lot of relationship issues. Number one is that every mentor is very busy. Their own life and their profession is tough. So when you decide that you go to them with a very, very specific request and make sure that you maximize the use of their time. They don't have time to waste on you. So select this mentor, go to them, introduce yourself to them, tell them why you think they can be your mentor, and create that obligation. Note that the relationship of mentorship is largely driven by the mentee. So ask for guidance. Go to this mentor for specific questions. So you should go to the mentor with specific questions about things that you think you want to learn from them. And make sure that you take lessons from those and the conversations. Note that you can abuse the relationship between you and your mentor when you do a number of things. Number one, if you decide that you're going to go to them every day to ask for money. Mentors may be very rich, they may have a lot of resources, but they must decide that they want to appropriate those resources to you. So don't go to a mentor asking for money. Don't go to the mentor asking for things that they will feel, burdened. Don't blackmail any mentor. That's the first one. The second one is don't go to a mentor to ask them to teach you what you should do, when in fact you haven't told them exactly what you want. Mentors are not magicians. They cannot profile you and say, oh, Bawole needs X or Y at this time, therefore let me tell him that. You should go to the mentor, ask specific questions about your work and all of that. Again, let me go back to my relationship with Prof. Adonfe. So he supervised my work, we finished, and then I went to him and said, Prof, I think we should publish the output of my thesis as an academic journal. Then I said, okay, good, great. So go and decongest your work and decompose it, put it together in a paper form, and bring it for us to discuss. So I go to him with a request. And I tell you, that relationship led us, and I was able to publish my MPhil thesis together with him as my first journal article. And when we finished, he said, yeah, Chief, you led this one. So the next paper, I am also going to lead it so we can work on it together. This is how I became a prolific writer together with him, and also transferring those skills to young colleagues who came along with me. And we built a great team, and that made me rise faster in my profession. So go to the mentor with specific questions, go to them with specific requests, go to them and ask questions, please don't go to them and waste their time, and make sure that there is a barrier between you and them. Don't pry into private stuff if they themselves don't offer to do that. Be mindful of what time you go to them. Ask them when it's most appropriate. Send specific questions to them. And so don't just say, I want you to be my mentor. You should come to me with specific questions on, oh, how did you do this? And or go find out how you should do this and say, I found out X, Y, and Z. Do you have any advice along these lines that you can advise me? And then they will be able to provide you with a lot of information. Note that mentorship is not to be abused, and I am stressing that because it's extremely crucial. So go to them and ask for specific things, and go to them and make sure that you can. When you get successes, share with them. When you have challenges, go to them and ask for the stories, for guidance. And when you do that, you are able to get a lot of support from mentors. Mentors are there to guide you. They are not there to feed you. They are not there to provide you financial support. They are not there to, to offer other things that they cannot. When a mentor gives you some aspect of their life information, for example, if they open up doors for you, don't abuse it. If a mentor introduces you to someone, or opens up a particular door for you, please don't abuse it. Make sure that you ask permission to be able to continue to use the access that they give you on a daily basis, so that it is not that you take advantage or you go to them, you find information and all of that. The last thing I'll say is that every mentor may have weaknesses, and sometimes you have to be careful that you don't jump into conclusions. If a mentor had a certain weakness and you discover that, make sure that you keep that to yourself. Because when you get closer to people, sometimes you discover some unpleasant things, and sometimes you get shocked. But make sure that those things don't become things that you will go from person to person spreading information about the mentor. This is what I will say. If you have any specific question about mentorship, please put it under this video and let's engage. I am happy to serve as a mentor, but please don't come to me and ask, what should I do all the time? Ask me questions, specific questions on what your life, aspects of your life you want to be, especially if you want to be an academic. If you want to further your education, I'm happy to support that, but please know that I'm also busy because I'm also looking for something to eat. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Nyame te ase. It shall be well. Bye-bye.